making muffins! Hello and welcome to Cam's Baking Corner. Today I will be showing you how to make a basic muffin recipe. So you can make this muffin recipe with any mix-ins you want. Just follow everything until the mix-in part and then add whatever you want. Today I'll be using a extra large muffin pan that makes 6 muffins. You can use a 12 muffin pan or mini muffin pan depending on which size you want. If you are using a smaller pan, you're going to want to adjust the time accordingly. Side note, I have our oven preheated to 375 degrees Fahrenheit. If you have to know that in Celsius, Google it because I don't know it. So I have pre-sprayed our muffin pans with a non-stick cooking spray. Remember, muffins are nudist, so you spray your pan. You do not add liners. So I'm going to move this out of the way. Other equipment you will need are mixing bowls, a spatula, and a whisk. Other than that, your ingredients. You'll need 2 cups of flour. You can use whatever type of flour you want. What?
Redo that because the camera wigged out.
Okay. Your ingredients are as followed. You'll need 2 cups of flour. We're using all-purpose flour, but you can use whatever type of flour you prefer, whether gluten or non. The ingredients you need will be 2 cups of flour. We're using all-purpose flour, but you can use whatever flour replacement you'd like. You will also need half a cup of sugar or whatever sugar replacement, a teaspoon of baking powder, and a half a teaspoon of salt. Those are your dry ingredients. Your liquid ingredients you will need is 3/4 of a cup of milk. Any milk will do. I've made this recipe with soy milk and almond milk. Those work fine, but we're using just regular cow's milk today. You also need 1/3 of a cup of vegetable oil. You can also use olive oil. It will affect the flavor a little bit, but not the texture. You'll need an egg, or whatever 1 egg's worth of your egg replacement is. And finally, our mix-ins. Today we will be using a mix of chocolate chips and frozen strawberries. How we prepared the frozen strawberries is we microwave them to defrost them, or you can just defrost them in your refrigerator. Wrung them out so all the excess liquid is out, and then cut them up into halves and quarters depending on their size. Now that we have all of our mise en place in place, let's start baking. First thing you want to do is you want to take your large bowl, and we're going to mix our dries. So you want to add your flour, and then you also want to add your sugar, salt, and baking powder. Give that a quick mix with your whisk. And set that aside. Next you want to take your medium-sized bowl, and this is going to be our liquids bowl. So the first thing you want to do is take your egg, plop it in there, and you're going to want to whisk this up. So how I always do it is you whisk it until the egg yolk is completely incorporated into the white. Just like that, just so your egg gets completely incorporated throughout your batter and you don't have any. This way, you'll get the egg completely incorporated throughout your batter and you won't have any clumps of egg whites. It's not a problem for most people, but it's a problem for me, so we did good. Then you just add the rest of your dry. So your oil.
You said dry.
I mean wet. Just asterisk it. And your milk. All of the ingredients will be listed down below as well as the steps that you need to take to do it. So you don't have to pause and rewind and all that. So now that we have all the liquids in the bowl, we can again use our whisk and whisk them all together. So mixing these completely is important because this is pretty much the last step before you combine everything together. So you really want to make sure that these guys are all mixed together nice. Once that's done, bring in your big bowl and it's time to mix everything together. So I will start out with the whisk and then I'll move to the spatula. This is known as the muffin method of mixing. There's a lot of M's in there. So the first thing you want to do is make a little well in the middle of your flour. And then you're just going to take all of your wet and pour it in. You can grab your spatula, scoop the bowl out, put that bowl off to the side, pretend we didn't just put that on the counter, and just start whisking in the middle of your bowl. Go around the sides and start to incorporate it. Now, it's very important that you don't overmix this, so you really just want to mix it until your flour is completely moistened. But don't get rid of the lumps. You want this to stay lumpy. So that's about as far as I'll go with the whisk. Just give that a quick clean. Get out of there. Just give it a little bang. And set that to the side. And then I'll just give this a couple little go around the edges. Now, before you completely mix in, I have a little bit of flour left in my batter. Now this is where I'm going to add our mix-ins. Today I'm using strawberries and chocolate chips. Put that off to the side, and you just want to gently fold these in. Now if you're using any type of frozen berry, it is going to slightly dye your mixture. That's okay. If you're using fresh, it won't matter as much, but we're gonna have slightly pink muffins. And you just wanna mix it in until you don't see any more flour lumps and your mix-ins are fully incorporated. There we go. Still nice and lumpy. It's not completely smooth, but our mix-ins are completely incorporated. So we have it nice filled in. I'm going to put that to the side, and now we are going to scoop our muffins into our pan. I'm going to use the 2-spoon method, but if you have a ice cream cookie scoop, you can also use that. What you're going to do is you're going to take your mixture and you're going to spoon it in. These muffins will probably take about 2 scoops. If you're making regular size muffins, they'll take 1 scoop and just scoop it in there. You want these to be about 3/4 of the way full. Slightly full if you want one of those like big bakery style tops, but I usually go with 3/4 of the way. Now, the reason why you want to do it 3/4 of the way full and not like all the way full is so that the outside will be nice and golden brown, but the inside will be cooked all the way through. If you make them any bigger, you can burn the outside and the inside will be completely raw. Side note, while you're baking these, if you do find that the middle is not cooking enough, but the outside's already nice and brown, you can drop the temperature of your oven and just cook it for longer. That will help the outside stop cooking while the inside keeps cooking. Something I have learned while working in the kitchen many times. Also, the times and temperatures do slightly vary depending on where you live, but for the most part, if you stick with 375, you should be good. If one of your muffins isn't as full as you would like it, you can, just steal a little bit from its neighbors. It's fine. Sharing is caring. I always get a little too generous at the beginning and run out at the end. So this recipe will make 6 extra large muffins, 12 regular muffins, and about 24, give or take a few, mini muffins. So, ready for the oven. We're gonna put these into the oven.
25 to 30 minutes.
Or until golden brown. And here they are, beautiful, golden brown, fresh out of the oven. So how I actually tested to see if these were done is I did what the bakers do, and you poke it, and if it springs back up, it's nice and done. If you poke it and it stays dented, then it's not done yet. Or you can just do the good old-fashioned toothpick test, and if it comes out clean, you're ready to eat. And there you have it, muffins. Yeah. Thanks for tuning in.
If you'd like, feel free to follow us and turn on push notifications so you know when a new episode debuts.
You can also find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Anchor by searching American Muffins.
See y'all later.
Bye!